Which daughter are you looking for, sir? I know one of the daughters is right there. I'm not sure exactly if she's there or not, unfortunately.
Is Sarah bringing? Is Sarah bringing? You can sit with people you've been with during the pandemic, otherwise we just like to create a little distance between everybody.
No, that's Denise's husband.
And I never get to see you for sure. I was thinking, sit with people we've been through pandemic with, otherwise I'm trying to maintain the social distance when we're taking seats, please. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. Good morning, everyone. As we begin our services, if we can please kindly turn off all cell phones or electronic devices, or please place them on silent. Also, as those people who are speaking come up to the microphone, please be sure to project and speak directly into the microphone to make sure that people watching in the live stream will be able to hear all the beautiful words that are being said. Thank you all for joining us today for a celebration of life for Estelle and Marvin Weinstein. Today is the day to tell stories, share memories, share laughs, and remember their lives, to celebrate their lives. I'm going to call up Gary to begin to talk about his parents and call up speakers to celebrate their lives as well.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our celebration of life ceremony for our parents, Marvin and Estelle. I thank all of you for joining us today and coming out during these trying times, driving all over creation, as my mother would say, taking a free day to spend with family. They say that family is the most important thing. While that is true, I still can't figure out who they are. 1 year ago, you were all here with us for a very brief ceremony due to COVID, without the normal closure a family needs. Well, we still can't have the old normal, so we are going to make do with the best that we can. We have 45 minutes here to enjoy the memories, and we got a 45-minute drive to the cemetery for another brief 15 minutes there, that is all we are allowed due to COVID. And after we're done there, there's about a half-hour drive coming back this way to go to the brunch. I need a count for the restaurant. But if you're planning on coming with us the whole day and finishing up at the restaurant in a couple of hours, please raise your hand so I can give the restaurant a count.
Oh my goodness, I
4,
was gonna
5,
do it on
6,
the
7,
way
8,
there.
9, 10,
And
11,
the announcement was gonna be after
That's
I was
it?
speaking.
12, 13. Okay, well, that's not as many as I thought. Okay. I tried to get us into the traditional diner, like we always would attend as this family function after the ceremony. And the diners aren't having it. I called at least 8 of them between there and here, and you know, they don't want to book a room. They're too busy this time of day. Anyway, I got us a different restaurant. Hopefully that's okay with everybody. I don't know what it's going to be like, but I put these little maps together, there's a bunch of these out on the front table. If you need a map, everybody uses GPS these days. If you don't, or if you're not using GPS in your car or on your phone and you need to follow, just let us know. We're not having the traditional procession. You know, it's not legal. We can't turn our lights on and run through traffic lights, so we will probably get separated on the way, which is why I made these little maps. I can go over them with you if you need. So the top part is from here to there, and then coming back to the restaurant. The bottom part is there, where we will be leading you into the site. As soon as you pull into the place, there's a building which will be closed except for the restrooms, and I know we're meeting one of our cousins there, so there'll be a brief stop there if anybody needs to use the restroom before heading to the site. Okay, and we now on with the celebration. We are including my mother in this celebration because the same thing happened when she passed. We did not have the traditional closure. There was no burial since she decided to be cremated. She was buried with my father. So we're including her in the celebration of life. Packing up someone's belongings brings loads of memories. We hope to share a few of them with you today, since our memories are all we have left. Like the loads of photos we came across, my folks' wedding album, and the recording they made on their honeymoon, as well as souvenirs like ashtrays, hangers, and towels stolen from various hotels. Yep, that's right, our folks were common, ordinary thieves. Yeah. It's amazing what you find out when you're packing up their stuff. And can you say hoarders? Okay, well, maybe not as bad as on TV, but 50-year-old gift wrap, hardware, like the used headlamp from a vehicle we haven't had for 35 years. And the stuff from my first store 47 years ago. Then there was the stuff from our childhoods, even older. I understand why they saved those. And stuff from their lives before we came along. But the newsletters from the 3 locksmith organizations from the 1970s, wow, we made a lot of recycling, put out a lot of trash. I stopped at the house on the way here today and brought the cans in for the last time. Dad was born in 1930, during the heart of the Great Depression, and thus he learned to save things for when you might need them later. That's why it took me a year to clean out the house. Wow, Dad, thanks. Our father was a very proud man. He was proud of his locksmith services, which helped many of his neighbors over the years. He was proud of his military service, and he had a good amount of pride in the children he helped raise. As a Marine, he learned to be stoic, and he showed that right up until the end when he suffered through pain without a whimper. Both of our parents gave the three of us the best upbringing that they could through race riots, recessions, unemployment, etc. And we thank them for that. There are just too many memories to go over in the time we have. Please think of some of your favorites and come up and share them with us all. I will now ask my sister Beth to come forward. I waited for that. That was deliberate. Yeah. Whenever you're ready. Sorry, we're just giving time for everybody to think about their fond memories.
Would you like me to walk up there with you when we go after you?
He did it on purpose. And he also took everything I was going to say. So now I know why I collect everything and save everything. My husband can attest to this. He called me a hoarder. But people that grew up during the Depression did save everything, and just in case you needed it. And as soon as you throw it out, that is when you need it. Our parents were in their 20s when they had all three of us. Being in my 40s when I had my daughter, I can't even imagine when you have a baby, which is of course the most wonderful thing in the world, and they hand you this baby and say, here, go home. And you look at each other and you're like, what do I do with it now? It doesn't come with any instruction booklet. There's no guidelines. You just give you your baby and say, off you go. Dave and I did that. We looked at each other and said, now what do we do? We don't know, but you do. Just do it. You just learn as you go, and it just becomes nature, and you just do it. And they did that 3 times, and each time, you know, they were successively getting better at what they did wrong and what they did right. As Gary mentioned, that Dad was very proud. He had a lot of pride in serving in the military, and although he did not serve for life, he always put his flag out, always on Veterans Day, always on Flag Day, July 4th. He put it out in the morning and he took it in the evening unless it was raining, and then he took it out sooner. He was very, very proud to have served. Mom, those of you that knew Mom, knew her to be a very strong woman, very type A personality. But she really was very fragile. She survived abuse as a child. And I think that made her hardened. And she became very, very strong, very on the outside, very aggressive. And she was really a fragile little girl inside. And nobody else really saw that except us. I have something. My father, who supported her and went with her to her many therapy sessions, and they went to Washington State for a convention for victims who
Incest survivors.
yes, it was victims of incest can emerge survivors' voices. And he always loved Mom all the years. They were married 60 years when she passed, and they would have been 66 years this past January. I don't know what else to say. Gary took everything I was going to say. So now Sarah's going to come up and say something while I dry my tears.
My mask steams my glasses a little bit, and it might be hard to read through the tears. My sister she did it to me as I was about to come up, just like Gary did to her. I want to welcome everybody. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank the people that are here virtually with us. A year ago, I thanked a lot of people, and I made a speech at our father's funeral. There were only 8 of us here, but you were all out there, here. You were all included in my thanks. I have gratitude for all of you because my father was very cared for. I'd like to reread the poem that I wrote, that I read at his funeral. Dad led a good life. You know he was loved. Everyone said how sweet that he was. Neighbors and friends and locksmith associates, support group and callers, doctors, nurses, and visitors. Everyone cared that his needs were met, and for him I wanted only the best. He enjoyed people and programs and food. Yes, he did. All you who knew him know that he did. It's sad that he's gone, but we'll all carry on with thoughts in our minds and love in our hearts. It's normal to grieve, but he's had relief. Now he'll be with our mom, and she'll be with him, in spirit and interred. Closure is the word. He loved our mother like no other. A lifetime together, it doesn't get better. I love you, Mom and Dad. And then I did proceed last year to sing a song they sang to each other quite often, but I'm going to spare you the singing. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read some thoughts that my Uncle Jack put down, and I'm glad to be his voice. He is the youngest brother out of the 3. There were 7 years separating each of them. First, of course, the oldest Uncle Joe passed. His nickname was Yussie. My father, 7 years older than Uncle Jack, right in the middle. His nickname in the Yiddish was Mutty, but everyone called him Pepper. He was sweet, and he was kind, and he was interested in being with people and learning about people and having great conversations with them. But that man had a temper, and people that loved him and knew him for a long period of time know why he was nicknamed Pepper. Here are Uncle Jack's thoughts. I have to start out with my brother Yussie, who I do not remember while I was growing up. Yussie entered the Army for the duration, and when he was discharged, he worked nights and slept during the day. I hardly remember him until Sam was born. Sam being the eldest cousin and Uncle Joe's eldest out of 3, followed by Rachel and then Vivian. I'm just adding that. I'm not reading that. But Pepper is a different story. He was always around while I was growing up. While sitting outside the store on 52nd Street, one night he pointed up and showed me 3 stars in a row, Orion's belt, and the 4 stars shaped like a fendel, Yiddish for pot, with a handle that was the Big Dipper. And over there was the Little Dipper. He taught me how to use tools and drive a car, and took me for my driver's test. While in the Boy Scouts, he came home from a week at Treasure Island and had poison ivy all over his body. What a memory. He always sat across from me at the kitchen table. My father to my right side and my mother to his left side. At some point, I took over his job of drying the dishes. When he was drafted and we jacked up the car and placed 4 milk crates under the car, and he was selected into the Marine Corps, for which he remained a proud Marine. After his honorable discharge, on Saturdays I would wash, wax, and polish the chrome on his 1940 DeSoto for his hot date that night with the future Mrs. Marvin Weinstein. Thank you for doing that, Uncle Jack. When I had my store, Yossi would come over once a week and use my computer to type up his autobiography, and we would have lunch together. When I retired, we invited Pepper to join us. Due to the nature of his work being available 24 hours a day, he could not join us until Estelle started to become ill. We then were able to all be together, and Estelle even got a chance to ride in my Rolls Royce. After her passing, Skippy and then Ron joined us, 2 cousins. Today is his 1-year anniversary. We honor his memory. Semper Fi, Pepper. Thank you for that, Uncle Jack. I would like to let everybody know that there are many pictures and some memorabilia set out in front to enjoy afterwards, so we will leave time for everybody to get a look at those. At this time, and don't everybody rush the podium, I would like to invite whoever would like to say a few words about our Father to come up and do so.
Good morning, everyone. Condolences to my family. Love you guys so much. I began taking care of Mr. Mr. Marvin in January, and became close to the family. And me and Mr. Marvin got very, very close in the few months that I've been there with him. And it's just such a blessing because he's such a wonderful man. I mean, he gave him his all in all to every and anyone. Me and him had a little pact, and I asked him, "Would you marry me?" And he looked at me, he said, "I'm married." I said, "Okay, now can I talk to your wife?" Because I need you on the side. But that was our little joke we used to laugh about all the time. And then, I don't know, out of nowhere, I called him Mr. Marvin. Melvin. See, now I'm calling by his right name, right? I called him Mr. Melvin. And I'm like, he was like, "That's not my name." I was like, "So what's your name? I've been here how long?" But anyway, we just would go on and laugh and have some blessed nights and everything. And I'm just so glad I got a chance to be in the family and take care of him. We have a picture together that Uncle Jack took, and I have him beside my stand, even to this day. He's right there because that's how much I love him. And I just, bless you guys. It gets easier, but we'll never forget. Amen.
Thank you, Denise. Who else has some memories?
Come on, people, have memories.
up and share their memories?
How are you? I've been a friend of the Weinstein family for 45 years. And what's interesting is, although I've never been fortunate to meet most of you, it tells you that Marvin must have had a pretty wide life, because I'm certainly here to talk about him. He was great. That's all there is to it. When my own dad passed away in my late 20s, couldn't imagine how a man of his generation was able to step up and so gently give me advice through life all the rest of the time that I know him. Sometimes I go long times without seeing him, and once in a while I'd run into him at Gary's store. And I remember he said to me, "Do you still see Gary a lot?" And I said, "Of course." I said, "All the kids, whenever we can." And he said, "That's good." He said, "I'd like it very much if you were friends with him for life." And I said, "You don't have to worry about that." Little realizing what a terrible deal I had just made. You know I love you. I love all of you. Well, as time goes on, we still see each other once in a while. Lucky enough to go to a Star Wars movie with him a couple of years ago. There was a lot of snow on the ground. And Gary and his dad were both parked in way different directions. And I looked at Gary and I said, "Don't worry about it, I'll take care of him." So he went off because my car was near Marvin's, and arm in arm, we went out toward Marvin's car. When I first met him, it was a middle-aged man and a young man. When I was walking out to that car, it was an old man, arm in arm with an old man. I miss him. I'll cherish my thoughts of him always. He was the epitome of what I consider a real man. He always treated me great, and he always knew exactly what to say to me, whether it was sharing in my good times or picking me up when I was a little bit down. I gotta tell you, I didn't have one note. I wasn't planning to come up. But talking about him is the easiest thing in the world when it comes to relating fond memories. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shannon. I am the eldest granddaughter, the eldest grandchild, and I feel honored that I got to be the first and spend the most time with them, spent alone time with them. They took me to Disney World alone, just me. I have a lot of great memories from that, more from the car ride than Disney World. I remember Grandma flipping a Snoopy doll back on the armrest at me, playing, car bingo, and, I Spy. I believe that my need to have multiple flavors of ice cream in the freezer at all times comes from them. You always have to have a little ice cream after dinner. It wasn't an option right away. What kind of ice cream do you want? And, even though I am the eldest granddaughter, they loved all of their grandchildren equally. It is hard to not have them anymore, but all of the memories that we have are very special. They were both amazing people, and I'm glad that my grandchildren, or their great-grandchildren, my children, got some time with them. And I can hope that, in the future my grandchildren have such a great relationship, just like I had with my grandparents. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Is there anyone else who'd like to share their thoughts?
No one can follow that.
There'll be a chance at the restaurant afterwards to be able to tell some stories, which is a great time. A little more casual. Stories might flow a little bit easier that way, but I'm sure there's a lot of memories, a lot of stories that everyone here has that can share as the day goes on. There's a poem that's written by Anthony Dowson that reads, "Speak of me as you have always done. Remember the good times, laughter and fun. Share the happy memories we've made. Don't let them wither or fade. I'll be with you in the summer sun, and when the winter's chill has come. I'll be the voice that whispers in the breeze, I'm peaceful now, put your mind at ease. I've rested my eyes and gone to sleep, but memories we share are yours to keep. Sometimes our final days may be a test, but remember with me that I am at last at rest. Though times may not be the same, don't be afraid to use my name. Let your sorrow last just for a little while. Comfort each other and try to smile. We've lived our lives full of fun and joy. Live on now. Make us proud of what you've become." I'll ask if we can just share a few moments of silence to remember how Estelle and Marvin each touched your lives. There is a memorial prayer that I'd like to read to conclude our service here this morning. I ask if we can all please rise. Prayer reads, "O God, exalted and full of compassion, thou who dwellest on high, grant perfect peace unto your sheltering presence among the holy and pure, unto the souls of Estelle and Marvin Weinstein, who has gone to their eternal home. Master of mercy, we beseech you, remember all the worthy, good, righteous, funny deeds that they performed here in the land of the living, and may their souls be bound up in the bond of eternal life. Be thou their possession, and may they always continue to rest in peace together." As we say, Amen. You may be seated. As Gary had mentioned, at the conclusion of the service, there are the items in the lobby that Sarah did bring, and they're in the lobby displayed. Have a chance to look at them and talk for a little bit. And then we'll make our way up to the cemetery, and then to the restaurant afterwards. Again, a period of closure, a period of time to share more stories and spend time together as family and friends.
Thank you.
Use some memories.
When you're ready, folks, you can join us.